Hi, good day. I'm Cordevilla, your food nutritionist for today. For today's video, we're going to tackle about the biomolecules present in the two dishes that I've picked from Greek cuisine, namely baklava and teropita. Also, I will explain how these molecules plays vital role in food nutrition and body processing. But before identifying the biomolecules, let me discuss first what are biomolecules. Biomolecules or biological molecules are defined as any organic molecules present in all living organisms. Each biomolecule is essential for body functions and manufactured within body. Biomolecules can be classified into four types: carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, and nucleic acid. Carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are also called as saccharides. It is the simplest type of organic compound. Its monomer is called monosaccharides, and it is classified into three subtypes: monosaccharides, disaccharides, and polysaccharides. Monosaccharides. Monosaccharides are single sugar molecule. It may contain 3 to 7 carbon atoms. It is the monomer of the complex carbohydrates, such as disaccharides and polysaccharides. Examples are glucose, fructose, and galactose. Disaccharides. Disaccharides are formed when two monosaccharides undergo dehydration synthesis. Examples are sucrose, lactose, and maltose. Polysaccharides. Polysaccharides are a long chain of monosaccharides linked by glycosidic bonds. Examples are starch, glycogen, and cellulose. Lipids. Lipids can be defined as substances such as fats, oils, and waxes. They are organic compounds that is insoluble. Lipids can either be saturated or unsaturated. Unsaturated fat. Unsaturated fat is a fatty acid in which the hydrocarbon molecules have two carbons that share double or triple bonds and are therefore not completely saturated with hydrogen atoms. Due to the decreased saturation with hydrogen bonds, the structure are weaker and are therefore liquid in room temperature. Saturated fat. Saturated fat is a fatty acid in which the hydrocarbon molecules have a hydrogen atom on every carbon, and thus are fully hydrogenated. The molecule is usually solid in room temperature, which allows it to store and ultimately provide more energy than carbohydrates or proteins. Proteins. Proteins are large, complex molecules that play many critical roles in our body. They do most of the works in cells and are required for structure, function, and regulation of the body's tissues and organs. Nucleic acids. Nucleic acids are macromolecules that stores genetic information that determines traits and makes protein synthesis possible. So now, let's jump into our two Greek dishes. Our first dish is called baklava. It's a classic Greek pastry made with flaky phyllo dough, layered with a cinnamon-spiced nut filling and bathed in sweet syrup. To make this, here are the ingredients. And our last dish is called teropita, or Greek cheese triangles. It is a Greek pastry made with layers of buttered phyllo and filled with a cheese-egg mixture. To make this, here are the ingredients. Now, let us identify the biomolecules present in the said ingredients. As what I've mentioned earlier, there are four types of biomolecules, right? These are carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, and nucleic acid. But in our case, we will just focus on the three, namely carbohydrates, lipids, and proteins, since these three are the ones that we can usually find in the food that we eat. Let's start off with the group of carbohydrates. We have lemon, sugar, and phyllo sheets. Functions of carbohydrates. One of the primary functions of carbohydrates in our body is to provide energy. In fact, it is our main source of energy and also the primary fuel source for our brain's high energy demands. Most of the carbohydrates in the foods we eat are digested and broken down into glucose before entering the bloodstream. If our body has enough glucose to fulfill its current needs, excess glucose can be stored for later use. Next, let's move into the group of lipids. We have walnut, almond, butter, and cream cheese. Functions of lipids. The main functions of lipids is storing energy. If we eat excessive amount of food, lipids help store the energy in the form of fat in our body for later use. It also functions for cushioning vital organs and for insulation. Lipids also play important roles in plasma membrane structure and serves as precursors for important reproductive hormones. Lastly, the group of proteins. We have feta cheese, ricotta cheese, Parmesan cheese, and eggs. Functions of proteins. Protein serves as structural components in support of organisms. Our body uses protein to build and repair tissues, and it's required for the growth and maintenance of the tissues and organs. This time, let us identify the different structures of biomolecules present in every ingredient. Starting with carbohydrates, first, we have lemon that contains fructose, which is a monosaccharide. Next is sugar that contains sucrose or table sugar, which is a disaccharide. It is formed when a glucose and the fructose are bonded. Lastly is the phyllochetes that contain starch, which is a polysaccharide. Then, the group of lipids. Both walnut and almond contains unsaturated fat, while both butter and cream cheese contains saturated fat. Lastly, with the group of proteins. All of the ingredients under proteins mainly contains isoleucine, which is an amino acid, the building blocks of protein. That would be all for this video. I hope that you enjoyed and learned something upon watching this. Once again, I am Kyla Marie Cordevilla, your food nutritionist.